In this video, we're going to talk about different types of visa denials and reasons and what does that mean and how can you try to avoid it. We'll talk a little bit about how in next video, but I'll try to explain you that. Before that, I want to tell you that the reason I'm wearing sunglasses is not because I'm trying to copy Casey Neistat. I would love to copy him, but I'm not, at least in this one, because I have a sty eye and it's I don't want you to focus on my eye. I want you to focus on the content, so that's why I'm wearing sunglasses. So visa denials. Also, before I talk about that, I want to quickly show you my Instagram. If you're following me on Instagram, you probably either said that do visa versus packing tips. So I applied, I thought I'll do visa interview this week and then next week I'll do packing tips. That way, a lot of people said that they also want to see that both. So I'll do both. So now let's talk about visa interviews, and this one is dedicated for different types of denials. What are the reasons you can get denials? And they will never tell you that. They will give you a form which says a section, and that section has a number, and each number signifies something. Each number tells you a reason. And where do you find that? There's a link in the video description. Go and read this after this video. I am going to cover 4 to 5 which are most common and which you might receive or you might have received, and there are many more, so you should go and definitely check it out after the video. Please do this research. It's my humble request to go and read that. It's on travel.state.government, which is by US Consulate visa website, so make sure you read that. And I'm gonna talk about denials in this one, and then I'm gonna talk about more of visa interview preparations and tips and common questions and answer in the next one. So let's talk about denials. There are like 5. I'm gonna try to read when I'm talking so that I don't forget. There's like specific numbers. I don't want to miss out on that one. The most common denial is going to be 214B, section 214B. What does that mean? So basically you went for an interview, and at the end of the interview they will type something. That's not how they'll type, but they'll type something and they will say that, so sorry, could not approve your visa at this point of time, and then they will give you a form with your passport back. That form basically just says section 214B. What does that mean? Basically 214B, there's a law or a section, kind of law / section. It means that every visa officer has to assume that any candidate who's coming for a US visa interview, that candidate is potentially an immigrant to US country, to US citizenship. So your job as an candidate, when you go for visa interview, your job is to convince visa officer that, hey, I'm not going to be a citizen, or I'm not going to be a potential immigrant. I'm just going to get my education. I'm just going to get my studies done. So that's when they feel that, no, your answers were not right, your application or something was missing, and they feel that, no, I think you will still be a potential immigrant. I'm going to give you 214B. So basically that's what it means, and we'll talk in the end of the video what you should say, what you should do to avoid getting that kind of rejection. I'll try my best, but it's a disclaimer, big disclaimer. I'm not an immigration lawyer. I am not consulting your case. Do your research or consult an immigration lawyer if you really want legal advice. Second most common rejection / holding. It's not a rejection when they give you section 221G at the end of interview. 221G basically means that you're lacking some information, you missed out some information in your application, or you missed out some information in your document when they asked you, give me financial documents, and you didn't have some, give me birth certificate, give me your transcript, whatever. They asked you something and you didn't have that, and that's when they give you 221G. It's not a rejection, it's basically giving you that form saying that US Consulate will contact you at certain point of time and tell you how to provide that information to Consulate, and they will reconsider your case and approve or deny you based on that information you provide them. Make sure that you check my first video on F1 visa. I made a checklist checklist video. I'll link also in this description so that you have all the documents and you never fall into this category. So those are the two most common, but I think the third one is a little bit, I've heard people getting this. I hope you don't fall onto this, but I've also heard people getting this types of rejection when they get 212A4. Now this section basically says that you are going to be public charge of United States. If you read the website, that's what it says. I looked up, and what it means is that you are not financially capable, and when you go to United States, you are going to rely on United States government to give you money. So you're public charge. It kind of sounds a little scary, but that's what it means. That when you went for an interview and when they asked you financial questions or questions based on your finances and you were not able to answer them, so that's basically what they said, that I don't think you're going to be able to fulfill all the financial requirements in the United States, and think you will rely on government to give you money. So no, you cannot enter the country. You cannot enter the country. That's what I meant. So yeah, that's the third most common. So now the other one, I am going to talk about it. I've got only one person tell me that they fall onto this category and they got that rejection. That's why I looked it up and I thought I'll put it in this list. But majority of people get rejected on the first three sections which I said. These two are very rare, and I hope you never fall onto this category. The first one is 212A9BI. See, there are so many sections, so make sure you go and read all the sections. This one is specifically says that you were given United States visa, you entered United States, can be any visa, can be F1, H1, tourist visa, whatever visa you entered as, and that visa was expired, but you did not come back to your country, and now you're trying to enter the country through different visas. So this is basically what they're saying, is that you illegally stayed longer than the visa which was given to you. I don't think you will ever fall into this category if you are going for the first time, but if you're going for the second time and you happen to do this, then that's basically what it is. That's basically what it means. This last one is 212A6CI. Now this one you will also, I hope you never fall onto this one. It's more of fraud and lies to your application. Basically, if you filled out your application and you said something illegal, you said something, you're trying to represent your information in a way which is not correct, you're trying to trick the government or consulate visa officer, and they somehow found you. Now let me tell you, they're very smart and they have a lot of information about you. So if they somehow find out that information about you, that you were trying to lie during the interview or in your application, then they give you this and reject you and can permanently tell you that you cannot apply for United States visa at all. So my humble request for this type of category is, at least don't lie, be honest in your application, be honest in your answers. There's nothing to lie, you're just going for education, so I don't know why you would lie. So I really hope that you don't fall under this category. So those are the most common categories, which is why they deny the visa or they give rejection on F1 student visa. Now there are many others. Go and check the list. I put it in the description. make sure you read them so that you at least it's there in the back of your head and you are preparing for it. Now let's talk about the fourth section, which is 214B, where they see the potential immigrant threat. Majority of people get rejected. It's mainly for your interview, like what you answer, how you reacted. I am not saying that I know this information, but I read this online that visa officers are highly trained in psychology, which means they know how you behave. They read your behaviors, they know from your answers if you're lying or not, you're nervous or not. So there's a lot of psychology and behavior reading when you say things, right? What I'm trying to say is that just be honest. Practice your answer a lot, a lot. Now I get questions like, I changed my major from electronics to computer science, so if visa officers ask me why did I do that, what should I say? I really don't know. I don't know the reason why you changed it, so I can't tell you that answer. I want you to frame a story. There must be some reason, something happened. You were studying and you didn't like electrical at all. You got job into IT sector and fell in love with it. You want career advancement, and whatever that reason is, you have to come up with that answer. Why did you choose to move? And that's what you need to say in a better way. So come up with that framed answer, and then maybe I'll help you to reword it. But the biggest thing is practicing that answer. You can't go practice, like frame the answer and then really can't go and say it for the first time. You need to practice that answer. Second question which I get most asked question is, why this university? Hey, I got admitted in this university and I'm applying for visa. Can you tell me why I picked this university? I don't know why you picked this university in the first place. You did your research, you chose that college to apply. You must have seen something in that college. Whatever that reason is, come up with that story. Why did you decide to go to this? Classwork, professor, campus life, whatever that reason is, you have to come up with a story, frame the answer, practice the answer. That's basically how it goes. I will talk more about preparation in detail in the Saturday's video. For now, this is what you need to do. Go read the different types of visa denials. Start preparing for most common question, answer your stories and answers, and then we'll talk about most common interview questions and answers, how I would answer and how you should answer, and then how to practice and etc. And also check my F1 document visa and start preparing for that. Until our next one, keep smiling and keep hustling.